So I seen this information come out in regards to Xbox and its employees, and I thought it was insane. So I figured it would be something we can go ahead and go over. So Microsoft lays off further 650 Xbox staff. No games canceled, their studios closed to organize our business for long-term success. So I did a video the other day on Rocksteady, making some layoffs as well in regards to Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. It was one of those things that game had flopped so bad that it did end up costing people their jobs at Rocksteady. They had to do layoffs, and it was one of those things. The company as well as Warner Brothers did suffer because of it greatly. So with that being said, this just adds further to more layoffs being developed in the industry. So I think that's insane. So we'll go ahead and get further into the article here. So Microsoft has laid off a further 650 Xbox staff, though no games have been canceled or studios have been closed this time. The news was shared by CEO of Microsoft Gaming, Phil Spencer, in an internal memo obtained by IGN with changes made to organize our business for long-term success. The layoffs follow 1,900 people who lost their jobs at the company in January this year. It means Microsoft has now laid off 2,550 staff in the last year. Now that is insane. Like that is a lot of people to be losing their jobs. And the fact that a lot of that is with Microsoft is wild because I do have, a little page here that goes over the game industry layoffs and everything like that. And it is one of those things. They're estimating that there's been about 1,200 and 12,700 jobs lost this year so far, which is wild because last year for 2023, the estimated jobs that were lost came out to about 10,500. So we've already surpassed how many jobs were lost last year by a good 2,500. And it's one of those things you guys got to keep in mind as well. The year's not over. It's September. We still got 3.5 more months pretty much until the year's done. So that's 3.5 more months where this number has potential to grow, which is not good. So I'll go ahead and go further into this. So the roles affected are mostly corporate and supporting functions, said Spencer. For the last year, our goal has been to minimize disruption while welcoming new teams and enabling them to do their best work. As part of aligning our post-acquisition team structure and managing our business, we have made the decision to eliminate approximately 650 roles across Microsoft Gaming, mostly corporate and supporting function, to organize our business for long-term success, reads Spencer. I know this is difficult news to hear. We are deeply grateful for the contribution of our colleagues who have learning that they are impacted. In the US, we're supporting them with exit packages that include severance, extended healthcare, and outplacement services to help with their transition. Outside of the US, packages will differ according to location. So I've had that happen before where I've worked for a company where they did decide to do layoffs. And it is one of those things for anyone that doesn't know when they do do like an exit package, a severance, and then healthcare. What that entails is that they're pretty much they're getting laid off, so they're getting fired for the most part. But the company is at least willing to work with them in the sense that they're not just gonna fire them and leave them high and dry. So whenever they do give them like a package or a severance, it is one of those things where they are able to let's say that if they have healthcare with the healthcare, like something like dental with the company, that will be extended after they are not they're no longer working with the company. As far as how long that goes, that really just depends on how long the company itself decides to go. So if they did want to still pay the employees, they could, but it's not going to be the amount that they're getting paid normally. So let's say hypothetically speaking, they're working for the game company. If they were making like, let's say like $30 an hour, more than likely they'd probably be making like 15, if not less than that, after getting laid off. And then the healthcare again, it would only last a couple months before they'd have to kind of figure out what they do from there. So it is one of those things that you do get laid off, but the company itself does kind of help you out a little bit to transition into possibly getting your next job or deciding to where you're going to go next to support yourself. So Spencer stated now that the company's corporate and supporting teams and resources are aligned for sustainable further growth. but confirmed no games, devices, or experiences are being canceled and no studios are being closed as part of these adjustments today. So on top of these 1,900 layoffs in January, Microsoft shut down 3 studios in June: Arcane Austin, Tango Gamework, and Alpha Dogs. So if we go here, we can go ahead and actually look at these 3 that they mentioned. So they mentioned Arcane Austin. So Arcane Austin lost about 60 employees. Tango Games Work lost about 150, and then Alpha Dogs Games lost about 25. So that's about 235 employees that were laid off after they decided to shut down these 3 studios. So that is insane. And then it states here, back in March, Spencer discussed the waves of layoff affecting the industry and said that he was mostly concerned about it overall, its lack of growth. And then earlier this week, ex-Sony Europe's president Chris Deering open layoffs across the industry were not the result of corporate greed. And to an extent, I'll agree with that, in the sense that it isn't necessarily corporate greed that's causing the game industry to fail, which is resulting in all of these layoffs. It's the game companies themselves that are producing these games that people don't really care about. I've been hearing a lot of not rumors, but just talk recently where a lot of people have been stating that AAA games and a lot of what the gaming industry is pushing out to be like their major hits, to a lot of people they don't really feel like a lot like video games. They feel like interactive movies, in the sense that you walk from one place to another. You might have like a little bit of interaction with like a cutscene or something, but it's not a whole lot of gameplay. Like a lot of people will entail like the Spider-Man games or God of War, where it's like, yeah, you do have the gameplay where you fight, you go against enemies and stuff like that. But once that gameplay is done, there's very long, um, like what is it? There's very long cutscenes, pretty much, so that the players are sitting there watching these interactive movies for the most part. And then let's say, like, for another example, the Last of Us. I know a lot of people are saying that that's kind of where it feels like it's going, in that direction, where you kind of, there's one example you can see online where someone really, like, you just walk, you're getting talked to by a character, and then you just, the whole time you're just walking, so it's almost like a walking simulator. So that's been a huge issue as far as the gaming industry, as well as the fact that a lot of these changes are being made by individuals that really don't care about the gaming industry. When you look at games like Dustborn that came out, or what was the other, Concord, and Jedi Outlaws, it is one of those things. These games are being made that a lot of the players aren't enjoying, they aren't liking, and it isn't something that they want to play. So at the end of the day, if the players aren't going to be happy, your bottom line is going to suffer. And if your bottom line is going to suffer, then the corporation is going to lose money, and that's going to result in layoffs. So it is one of those things that, with them deciding to go the route that they are going in the gaming industry, it's not too surprising to hear that all these layoffs are happening and all of these things are going down. With the way that it's looking, especially with, like, the indie games market, it feels like those are really going to be the future of gaming. A lot of the indie games, a lot of these AAAs, it seems like they're going to start having to take the back burner, because of the fact that in order to produce these games, it takes up so much time, it takes up so much money, and a lot of the times the reward isn't worth it. Concord is probably the best example for that, where they worked on that game for 8 years and it was only out for the public for about 10 days before it got scrapped, because players didn't care about it. They don't want that game. So I feel like this is just a big example of where the game industry is headed, if they don't start listening to the fan base, if they don't start listening to the people that pay for these games out of their own pocket with their own money. Because if you don't have that, then your game isn't going to be successful. So those are my thoughts on that. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think it's wild that they're, laying off this many people? I think it's insane that, they're going this route. But at the same time, this is, where a lot of these game industries are headed. So let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think this is a good thing or a bad thing? In the comment section. If you guys can like, share, subscribe, if you guys can do that, I would really appreciate it. If you guys have been watching this long, I really appreciate it. It really means a lot to me. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. And yeah, Harmonic out. Peace.